Good evening, I'm Damian, these are my teammates Megan and Kyle, and today we're here to talk to you about our work with the Sheffield Engineering Leadership Academy in partnership with the Urban Flows Observatory for trying to increase their outreach and help their outreach project. For a little bit of a summary, we're going to go through what actually is the Sheffield Engineering Leadership Academy, because I know a lot of you are looking very quizzingly at me. And what the Urban Flows Observatory does. We'll talk about the challenge they set for us, our current ideas, and finally, after all the presentations, we want to hear from you. We want to hear how we can improve on our ideas or any ideas that you may have for us.
So, as David said, I'm Megan, and I'm second year on the Sheffield Engineering Leadership Academy programme. So it's a 2-year programme that basically aims to develop the leadership and management skills that you don't get through studying your normal degree. So as part of this programme, we do lots of different weekly workshops or work on different skills. We have guest speakers come in, some of you guys here have come in and spoken to us. And then we also do a number of stretch assignments. So as an example, this was one of our stretch assignments last year. So we basically created a big engagement project at Get Up to Speed, which was a local event that aimed to educate primary school and secondary school students on the opportunities within engineering. So we created a theatre of engineering and showed them lots of different disciplines, invited them to come and ask questions, and then we sent some of their things up into space as a way to sort of show engineering in action. And it also helped us work with local partners, send it to space, who are quite close to the university as well. So it's a really positive experience, and as a result of that we got invited to Festival of the Mind, which I'm sure a lot of you will know a lot about. So we recreated the project there and changed our audience slightly to meet more of the wider public and really engage them in the opportunities within engineering. So our stretch assignment this year for our small group out of the cohort is to work with the Urban Flows Observatory, which Kyle will tell you a bit more about now.
Okay, so the Urban Flows Observatory, this is the main organisation that we're working with this year for our assignment. So the Urban Flows Observatory essentially seeks to understand how the physical metabolism of cities works and how this can be effectively measured, understood and utilised. And we do this in a number of ways, including fixed and mobile sensors. So in Sheffield we have a vehicle called Mobius, and that's the vehicle there. And it has a number of different sensing equipment to measure a variety of data sets. We also have fixed monitors around the city as well, so we have them located on lampposts and other areas such as near schools in order to measure these parameters as well. So a bit more on Urban Flows itself. So it's funded by the Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council in partnership with the University of Sheffield. And in terms of what data we can collect, at the moment we're currently able to collect thermal and imagery data, air quality, weather conditions and energy usage, and there are currently aspirations to enable us to collect more and more varieties of data in the future. But this whole project does come under UCRIC, which stands for the UK Collaboratorium for Infrastructure and Cities. You may already know that, but it's a mouthful. And they have a network of these urban laboratories, that you could call them, that collect vast amounts of data around the country. So there's one in Newcastle, there's one in Bristol, and there's one in Sheffield and other parts of the UK as well. And it's all about really measuring and understanding how our cities work digitally. So one example that we thought of, kind of explaining it to the general public that most of them will be able to relate to would be smart motorways. So quite a few of you must have been on the M1 near Meadow Hall, which has recently been upgraded to smart motorway status. And that essentially means increasing the capacity without actually using a lot of hard engineering. So using variable speed limits as well as using the hard shoulder for an extra capacity lane enables less environmental impact, lower costs and less time in terms of using that engineering challenge. So what we're trying to really talk about is our challenge, what we have today, and what we want to present to you. Excuse me. So we have 3 main points we really want to try and understand, and we want to try and understand the current and legislative environment that influence policymakers. So this involves, obviously, we want to be able to present this to our group effectively in a way that can entice them and understand more about our project.
Yeah, so basically, as you can see from this, we got given quite a big, extensive brief. We were sort of led in the direction of targeting school children as well, because there's lots of sensors on schools. And obviously, like Joe was saying before, it's really useful to engage children because they're often a lot more enthusiastic and they can take the message home to their parents as well. So that was one of the ideas that we were sort of given. But yeah, the overall brief was quite broad, and to just try and engage the public and show them why data is important and why issues like the smart motorway need to be backed up by data before they can actually be effective. So yeah, we tried to really distill the whole brief down into these 3 points. So how can we promote the observatory's activities, raise awareness of how data can enable decisions, and incorporate Internet of Things as an enabling area of technology.
So we talked to some of you in this room, and you guys also went to a conference. I forgot the name of it. It was
a national conference for UCRIC in Bemben. So we spoke to all the different observatories there and kind of got their ideas, but none of them are really doing the outreach that we want to do here. So.
And we sort of got a lot of feedback, which was mainly about focusing on the stakeholders, so focusing on who we want to affect, how we want to affect them. We had these sort of 5 ideas initially. We've narrowed them down to the 2 grey ones seen at the end, because we think they tackle vastly different stakeholders, while the right one tackles more, since it's an educational roadshow, it's more tackling children and affecting the outreach through that. Meanwhile, the web application, which we're thinking could be essentially a set of QR codes around the city, sort of how you have the QR codes down there on our, where you scan the QR code and you can see sensor data at that part of Sheffield, which is more tackling sort of the inquisitive person, more the general public. However, it's still early on in the project. We are students, although we've had experience with doing year-long projects, we don't have experience in IoT for public engagement specifically, which is why we want to hear from you. We want to hear what your thoughts about our current ideas are, whether you have thoughts on what might be better for public engagement. So if you have any of the ideas and you don't want to talk to us, we've left our email up there, so you can anonymously email us in. But yeah, thank you guys very much for listening.